Welcome back to the Proactive Prevention Podcast, where we mix the music with the message to help young people make smart, empowered choices about drugs and alcohol. We share powerful stories and compelling information about substance use and abuse, about addiction, recovery, and more. Today we're honored to have a very special guest joining us. Rhianna is here to join her personal story of addiction and recovery. A journey marked by struggle, strength, and transformation, her story reminds us while addiction can affect anyone, recovery is possible and hope is real. Rhianna, thank you for being here and for your courage in sharing your experience with our listeners. To start things off, could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are today, Rhianna?
Sure. My name's Rhianna, and I'm a person in recovery. Yeah.
A person in recovery? What do you mean by that?
So I have been abstinent from drugs and alcohol for the last 22-ish years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Drugs and alcohol. I mean, can you just explain that a little bit more? Drugs.
Okay.
Explain that a little bit more.
So I was an intravenous drug user when I was young, and I've done a lot of different substances.
Okay.
And by the end of, before I came into recovery, I was heavily drinking. So it's where my addiction process came from.
Alcohol is definitely a drug. Mm-hmm. So, boy, I don't know what to say about that. I mean, a lot of people get into that. I was into that even. I mean, as a college kid, I was big into that. And most of my friends were into that too. So intravenously, though, could you explain that a little bit more?
So that means I used a needle to inject drugs into my body.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
and that, could you explain a little bit more, please?
So I used primarily heroin. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, there's not really much to go into that.
Could you explain, I mean, when did you first begin to use substance use, and what factors did you get into that with?
I think I was around 14 or 15. I had just started high school. My friends were using pot. They were smoking pot. I lived on a military base, so we didn't really have access to a lot of alcohol, so it was whatever we could get our hands on at that time. So this was like mid-90s.
Okay.
Any kind of pill that we could get from somebody, we tried.
Okay.
I think caffeine pills were a really big thing.
Okay.
And it just went from there.
Wow. So that's something that I can't fathom that, I guess. So the military base, can you get more into that? Where was the military base? Tell me more about your friends.
Oh, I don't want to say what military base I was on.
Okay. Was it in the state?
Oh, yeah. It wasn't in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So I'm not from Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I moved here in 97. Okay. So I was 17. But I lived on the military base when I was, like I said, when I was in high school. So 94.
Okay.
And we lived there most of my high school career. Mm-hmm. I moved away a few times up until the point I got kicked off of the military base, and I wasn't allowed to be on any federal installations due to some unfortunate circumstances. Mm-hmm. I wasn't arrested per se, but I was definitely charged with a lot of things that most 17-year-olds are not.
What was your family structure like? Were your mom and dad together still, or what was your situation with your mom and dad like?
So I was raised with my dad, and he was married to my stepmom since I was 10.
Okay.
I did not know a lot about my biological mother. Growing up, she lived on the other side of the states. I didn't see her much. I didn't have a lot of interaction with her.
Okay.
So it was my parents, and both my parents, my stepmom and my dad were both, both of them were in the military.
Okay.
So I lived a very structured life.
Okay.
My parents were very strict. Just that's the way that they were.
Okay.
I had other siblings, and we were all taught to pretty much stay in line.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like you were doing what you weren't supposed to be doing. Were your other
all the time.
and your brothers and sisters were like, how many brothers and sisters did you have?
So I have, from my dad, I'm the oldest of 5 of us. So I
Okay.
have 2 younger siblings, and we come from the same set of biological parents.
Okay.
And then I have 2 younger brothers who are my parents' sons.
Are you staying in touch with them at all?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yep. I'm very close to my family.
Okay. Just curious. I didn't know. So what the situation was like there. How does addiction face the relationships with your health or your future plans, things like that? I mean, how old are you right now, as a matter of fact?
So I'm 45.
Okay.
And I was introduced to recovery probably when I was like 19 or 20.
Okay.
And then by the time that I sobered up, I was 23. And at the time, I mean, other than staying alive,
Okay.
there wasn't a lot of health risks
Okay.
until, and I mean, even as an older person.
I know you're an entrepreneur.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Yeah. So I'm really big into health stuff now, particularly with some of my business stuff. And I don't know, because of the substances that I've used I am very aware of the things that I put in my body, and I'm very aware of the people that I surround myself with because of that. So.
What would you say the moment or experience came that was a turning point of your recovery?
A turning point of my recovery?
Is there, of your recovery? Wouldn't you say you're recovered right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Was there a specific point that happened in your life that was the turning point of your recovery? Did you meet a man that might have been the person, or was something happened tragically that happened that was a recovery point, or something that happened? Did you go to church or something? Did you anything like that? Can you think of a turning point?
Before I got into recovery, I went to prison.
Okay, there's a turning point.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say that it was necessarily like I wouldn't have thought of it at the time. I was 20 when I went to prison.
Okay.
It wasn't something that, I don't know, I'd never thought that I was going to be in recovery. It wasn't anything that I had looked forward to, so it wasn't something that I thought that was going to change my life.
Okay.
I knew that I didn't want to continue going back to prison because of some of the things that I'd been convicted of.
Okay.
So, like, looking back on my life now, that probably was the catalyst.
Okay.
I also had a young son who was living with his grandparents, and in my head, I knew that logically, like I knew I should like be an adult and grow up, but emotionally I still wasn't ready. Right. And I was faced with the choice of whether or not he was going to be adopted by his grandparents. I didn't want that to happen. What his life was, I didn't want my life to reflect and like, I guess, like start the cycle all over again with my own son. So I pretty much made the choice, like, I've got to do this for my kid.
That's great. How long did you spend in jail? Do you remember?
Couple years.
Couple years, really? Wow.
Yep, I went to county prison, the state prison, and I spent 6 months in a halfway house.
Yep, that's prison, all right. Who would you say has played the biggest role in helping you start your recovery journey? Is it your grandparents, maybe, or no?
I don't think there was any one person.
Just came it. Would you say God, would you say, or was it just yourself? Or
no, it probably, like I said, I think it was my son. It was
That's
the choice
great.
facing with my son.
That's great. So what tools or support systems do you rely on to stay on track today?
So I'm a member of a 12-step fellowship.
Okay.
And I do a lot of service work within that 12-step fellowship.
Okay.
I mentor several ladies there. I belong to a committee that does service for young people in recovery, and I participate in a lot of conferences, go to a lot of conferences to, be involved in my recovery.
Okay, that kind of leads me to my next question now, Rhianna. What do you think is so important now for young people to hear with stories like yours?
I think what's important for young people to realize is that no matter what you're going through, that there's always going to be some help out there.
Okay.
Like, you're not alone in what you're going through. Like, I remember when I was 17, like, thinking to myself, like, my parents just don't understand what I'm going through, and they don't know what I'm feeling. And the idea of being with other people who are doing things to get away from their family life or their just regular life, that it's easy. You fall into like that whole peer pressure.
Okay.
And so when you're in that environment, you can't see that there might be a solution and a way out of that.
Okay.
Because particularly for young people, there's a very small window that you get to see, like, okay, I got to do something different. And then if you don't get that, it's easy to be sucked back into making poor choices.
Okay.